industry becomes self-sustaining. And this is where it gets really, really cool. Because the sponsorship of those companies, instead of being a philanthropic sponsorship, becomes an investment. Companies and industry that participate in this program in stages 2 and 3 receive intellectual property. They receive actual goods and services, and most importantly, they receive feeds into their talent pipeline for the STEM-related jobs that they are so desperate to fill. In coordination with CTE programs and with grants, the successful implementation of this program does indeed become self-sustaining, so that instead of us throwing money at the problem, we are instead creating a mutually beneficial situation where industry gets the jobs that it needs, gets the goods and services that it needs through that agency-based model, and at the same time doing very, very good for these students to get them through that chasm of risk.
So in the 5 months since its inception, we have been able to create an amazing board of key advisors and board of directors of community leaders and business partners. We've raised enough money for our 501c3 IRS application. We have also brought on an amazing technology partner, our first one. And we also have just partnered with our first media and design partner to build our first externship. And above all, the most important is the youth. The youth have been the ones who have been with us, that I have worked with for over around 20 years, to help us building this program from its inception. And we just launched our first test cohort last week with our externship partner, where we're talking the talk and walking the walk, because our youth that are building our website and are also building all of our digital assets. But again, most importantly, it's our youth.
Come on up, all the youth. I'm Peter Perun, former Salt Lake County Mayor. I want to speak on behalf of Nicolina, who started our after-school programs in Salt Lake County from nothing, so she's certainly well aware of how to run startups. I also sat on the Economic Development Corporation and Salt Lake Chamber boards and saw that the gap that Nicolina is talking about, that the gap between the skills that are needed by our growing technology companies and the lack of skills and the need for these young people, these disadvantaged youth especially, who need those skills to fill that gap and become productive working members of our society. So I just want to speak on behalf of this organization. The need is there, and the time to fill that need is right now. And these are some of the great products of the after-school programs who are now leading successful lives.
First off, I'd like to thank you guys all for being here today. I don't know where to start, so a little bit myself. My name is John Nguyen. I am a first-generation Vietnamese American. To this date, my proudest accomplishment is I'm the first to have a degree out of my family, and I am proud to say that I am a role model to my younger siblings. And I can say that because throughout my 3 years at Curtin Senior High, I went to the after-school program led by Nicolina. When I first met Nicolina, I was very intimidated. She couldn't be too much older than me, but yet she was firm and strong enough to lead, but yet gentle and patient enough that she was like a second mom. We all knew that she had a young boy at home, which I'm pretty sure isn't young anymore, but to her, this wasn't a 3 to 5 job for her where we just sign in and sign out. She invested her time in us. And the most important thing that I learned from the after school program that she gave us the opportunity was that we had choices in life. That what started out for me was an hour a day to burn time and to do homework grew much more into that. She installed in the youth, in my friends, that even though that we had a hard life, at least we still had each other, and that's a lot more than many youths can say today. And through having each other, we did PSAs about dating violence, gang violence, and many other things. And a lot of my peers wish they can be here today, but unfortunately through finals, and a lot of them are in the military now. You know, we're all someone because of our foundation. And our foundation started when, as young teenagers, 13, 14, 15, because of the after school program and because of Nicolina. So just a little bit about that.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Correa. I work with Nicolina before in the group called FutureINDesign. And we're working with the community. It's youth trying to build up the community. A lot of us that were in there were in like the area, which is like the Glendale area, Roosevelt area, which people say really not that good. So I don't know, I just wanted to, see what it was and everything. I wasn't really interested in college or job, and I just wanted to spend time with some friends. After a while, Nicolina, she took us to like Westminster, she took us to the U, we went to go to Planned Parenthood. She was just keeping us busy with all these activities, and she made me realize that going to college will make a difference. And a lot of us got out of pathways, but I don't know how to say it. Well, she got us like, in line, like, there's a word for that.
Straight and narrow.
Yeah. So yeah, she made us go to the right path. And yeah, like because a lot of our the students will wish they would be here, but they're in school right now. But I just really wanted to be here. Right now I'm taking college classes to study political science because, like Nicolina said, a lot of our youth need to step up, make a difference. And I feel like I might not make a difference for all of our youth, but I could try. I could try to like change a few things. I could try to speak for some, change a few things if I could. I don't know if that makes sense, but you guys get me. You guys get me.
Yeah, all good, man. All good.
And I'll talk her out of getting into politics and getting into technology. Thank you. Thank you for
Question. Good question. Yeah. Well, maybe not quick. Sometimes people are always looking for investment capital. I wonder how much you're looking for and what do you use for it?
So currently we're looking
Where did all of you?
and now I'm apparently I'm getting a really big surprise from one of you guys. We are looking for I'm sorry.
So there's an initial investment into the program, which helps to get that self-sustaining model going. Right? We'll be doing a pilot or a proof of concept, and for that pilot proof of concept, the funds needed are
For our operation costs and for the stipends.
and the actual amount is
The actual amount is $250,000. Yes.
that includes all the stipends for the students, so we don't have the competition. That includes being able to get the program up and running, and then it will become self-sustaining. 2 year startup.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're looking at our initial grant process. We're going to need to really work on with foundation and government and fundraising until we can establish our portfolio and in the community and build a great reputation. And then we're hoping within 5 years that we'll be between 60 to 80% self-sustaining. Because big philanthropy is going away, and there's a lot of great nonprofits that don't have the ability to have a sustainability model, but they're very critical needs. And we do have a sustainability model, so we want to make sure that if it comes out there, that we can make sure it's open up for other, because we'll probably use it as a community partner for like a direct service, that we can do our part and be self-sustaining as much as possible.
Do you mind if I follow up with one question? As the self-sustaining model develops, the future revenues generated are from intellectual property?
It's from intellectual property, it's from the actual services, so it will act on an agency model, right? The companies that are invested, let's say you need a logo, right? Every dentist office needs an IT department. Sorry. Those types of goods and services actually contribute to that increase.
Yes.
What is, I mean, it sounds obviously really well developed, and what is the biggest roadblock outside that? What is the biggest challenge? Outside of just the finance, obviously that's important. What would you say is the biggest challenge?
Proving that the youth can do more. started throwing this idea out, some of the responses I was getting back was, oh, internships are awful, you should just teach them customer service skills. You know, they have nothing they can contribute, it'll be more work on the externship part, on the industry partner, and that is not true. There is a great example out of Chicago that they work with 1,800 different workforces and the youth core work study program. So, and what we realized in the research, and we also have Department of Workforce Services here that works with the youth work development, and they can also probably speak to this as well, is that these youth are, if not more dedicated than your 2, 3, 5-year employer that becomes complacent, because they see a really big goal in mind. There is an end product here. And so there's a lot of pride with that.
I would tweak that just a little bit and say that the biggest issue is awareness about the specific program, right? Industry needs to be aware that we can actually achieve a co-teaching model where those inside of the industry can teach that it's not a significant time dedication, but it is a significant investment in what these kids can do. And then that helps feed the talent pipeline. So it creates this virtuous cycle. And what we really need is awareness of the program so that we get more involvement.
What age group, how many are you looking for at the first, run? And will they work on site in industry, or is there a location that they'll meet?
So our initial age group is ages 16 to 20. After we get the program up and running, our next goal is to focus on the reentry populations, which is adult or young adult probation and parole. But for our first proof of concept cohort, we're looking for about 25 youth. And the first stage, they learn in-house together, a technical skill set. Then we move to an in-house internship where they actually work on local business products and they develop that portfolio. Then the third step is they go into these industries. For example, our first externship partner, Ori Media. They'll then apply to go and do an apprenticeship with Ori Media where they will mentor, but they're not walking into these apprenticeships with like blank hand, like, notebooks. They're walking in saying, I've already developed a mini portfolio. I need to work with an expert to hone in my skill.
Mm-hmm. And ideally, those jobs that they're walking into, those internships that they're walking into, those companies will have already been involved from the beginning, so that they'll have a relationship with these specific kids, with these specific students, and it just creates, again, that virtuous cycle.
Yeah, and opens up that pipeline.
Yeah.
At the end of the apprenticeship, the industry now can say have first pickings, right?
And fully operational, the program will support 250 students, and then we'll be able to franchise out from there once we prove the model.
And that's how many months? Like every year?
It takes 3 semesters to go through the entire program.
Okay.
And they also earn the CTE credit, which is
Correct.
a very valuable education credit in the school district. So they earn school credit and they earn a stipend. And the reason why the stipend is so important and the school credit is that when you're working with at-risk populations, probably around 14, 15, they have to start getting jobs because they're helping supporting their families and they're having to support themselves in a certain way.
It's an enormous obstacle that's very easily overcome with a stipend. So.
Exactly.
So what's the time commitment for each youth? Like how much time a week are they spending in this program?
So it's from Monday through Thursday, 1:30 to 6:30. And they go for 9 months. And we've already talked with the school districts about making sure that it aligns with being able to get that school credit. And so that's how we developed that 9-month timeline, was working with the school, directly with the school
And
district.
the reason this works so well with the school districts is the same way the industry is hungry for STEM talent. The school districts and schools are hungry for CTE specific courses. If this qualifies for CTE specific courses, there's additional funding from the state and the federal government for those particular courses. It counts as credit and it makes those schools look very, very good. So we have no problem with demand for an influx for these particular classes.
So what kind of STEM jobs? I mean, you say STEM, but STEM could be a lot of different things.
Yes.
And it sounds like it's going to be, you mentioned 3 semesters. I guess, what are they learning? What kind of jobs are they, learning about? It
So
sounds
where-
like graphic design.
So we're starting with graphic design. We're starting with the Adobe Creative Cloud. because it is a really amazing foundation and easily digestible when you're talking about going further into like coding or app design or web design. The foundations that Adobe has built their software on are very, very navigatable, and they're really teachable. And so this is the entry point to being able to open up opportunities for other technology jobs. So we're hoping to then add, after graphic design, the youth, if they don't get placed into a job or decide to go to college, they can come back and take an additional track in like web design, coding, industrial design, app design. And then as the market shifts or grows and as we evolve, we can start to, with the partnership, that's what the critical piece of the industry partnership, we can start to develop other curriculums.
And it's critical that you don't look at the curriculums as a progression. Computer science is not the end-all be-all. It is one part of an entire STEM spectrum of different jobs that are needed out there. You need graphic designers, you need design technologists, you need biologists, right? All of these across the field, it doesn't culminate in computer science. That is one avenue to it. We're starting with graphic design because number one, that's the lowest barrier to entry, and number two, because it is foundational to everything else that you're doing. The digital literacy, the tools that you learn how to use, and then being able to do good design is a vastly needed skill in the industry.
And another thing that you spoke to that I just want to mention is that 1/3 of the workforce development is going to be what they're calling an Uber type workforce, where they will be freelancers. Mm-hmm. And being that graphic design is a very low barrier to entry, even if these children want to go into medical, want to go into social sciences, they have a technical marketable skill that they can put themselves through college. They can freelance and put themselves through college doing design. So it's something that is a market that will always be needed.
And just like dentist office need IT folks, doctors and dentist offices also need graphic designers.
I just wanted to add, I'm actually a graduate of YouthWorks from many years ago, and growing up in Rose Park, and hearing this business model, I think part of the problem that happens for somebody like myself is that I didn't have the opportunities presented to me, and I knew that they were there, but I didn't know how to get there. And with what Nicolina is presenting, it would have been a great asset for myself to stream myself into the network, of business people. And I've learned I'm actually a business owner now, and I've learned that it's not really what I know, it's who I know. And this definitely puts me in line. I can see my daughter Princess is actually up there, and I can see where something like this business model can lead to more avenues of success. And just because of the support, and if you look at a lot of groups, sponsorships, things, it creates kind of like that relationship that you can trust in somebody. Hey, how do I do this? And they walk you through it. I started my business with no knowledge really, and I just asked people, and I kept asking people, and I followed, and I got in amongst people like yourselves, and I just let them steer me. So right. I think this is great.
And absolutely fantastic what he said, but it's critical that we don't look at this as philanthropic. This is something that business and industry directly benefit from, right? In some cases, participation in the program means that it's not actually a tax-deductible donation because you're getting something from this, right? We need to stop looking at this as a sponsorship and as philanthropy and start looking at it as an investment.
Yes.
I have a startup and we need graphic design work. Is that something that we can come to you folks for and you charge us a fee and that goes?
Absolutely, exactly.
So we are going to base our fees off a sliding fee scale. We don't want to undercut the market and the graphic design and creative community. That we want to help support and build that market. So, but we also know that nonprofits and startups have a hard time affording that $85 to $105 an hour graphic designer. So we offer those services on a sliding fee scale based on volume.
And we will also work for equity. So that helps us with our self-sustaining model, and it's good for both of us.
Yes.
All right, well, we are about out of time, so definitely keep following up, ask more questions after this. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure we ask, what can we as a community do to help support Future in Design?
So going back to the ask, right? Starting now, start sharing this on social media. Start introducing Nicolina and the rest of the partners, myself and others, to your friends in the industry. We need to get the word out. Awareness is our biggest problem, right? Share this knowledge and share what you've learned today, because we hope that you agree with us, and we know that others will agree with us in the industry, so that we the industry can contribute, and other members that want to contribute on the philanthropic level.
And the first step, everyone take out your phones. Take out your phones, take out your phones. Go on your Facebook app, because I know you have it, even if you say I'm not a social media person, we know it's a lie. And find Future in Design,
And
like us, and then share us on your page.
It's all one word, by the way, Future in Design, just no space.
What do you guys think the community could do for us?
Just awareness. Others.
You have no problem with confidence, so it's all about awareness.
The great thing about these are youth ambassadors, and we have made sure that we have involved youth in every step of this process, because if it's not interesting to them, they're not going to come. So these are actually our founding youth ambassadors. So, and they will be their own functioning board.
What's the Twitter handle for those of us who are Facebook inept?
Our Twitter handle is at Find Center on Instagram and Twitter.
Thank you very much.
Excellent job.
All right, that was awesome. So thank you so much for the feedback as well. And obviously, like I said, if you have